Welcome to Backyard Philosophy, a podcast where a couple friends grab some cold ones, sit around the fire, and talk about science, philosophy, and history. Crack one open, sit back, and get a good laugh as we discuss everything from automation to why the meaning of life is 42.
Listener, suppose you were an idiot, and suppose you were a member of Congress, but I repeat myself. Today we're going to be talking about the dumbest quotes politicians have said. We're just going to list them off, react, laugh, and say another one. That was actually a Mark Twain quote. We didn't come up with that. Just want to clear that out real quick. Before we get into it, Mike, how you doing, and what are you drinking?
I love that quote. That's so fucking funny. I'm doing fantastic. And this is going to be a weird episode, Nix, but luckily I have a bottle of quarter horse bourbon with me to keep me company. What about you, my friend? How you doing? What are you drinking?
I got some Rogue Honey Kolschir, and I'll let you go first.
So the premise is we're going to talk about dumb quotes, and we're just going to see where this goes, and it's all by American politicians. And you know what? I'm going to start it off strong, Nick. By J. Dickey Jr. in 1992, he goes, "I think incest can be handled as a family matter within the family."
To be fair, he's not wrong.
To be fair.
He's not wrong there. Technically, that is exactly how incest is handled.
I don't know the context of why he said this quote this way, but why?
I don't know. I'm going to go with a little low-hanging fruit. Rarely is the question asked, is our children learning?
That's a George Bush one.
That's a George Bush one.
And in case you can't tell, ladies and gentlemen, and you should check it out if you have, the American education system has failed us, and Bush's quote kind of definitely confirmed that one. I like this one by the former mayor of Washington, D.C., Marion Barry. Outside of the killings, D.C. has one of the lowest crime rates in the country. Yeah, if you remove the top number one problem in your district, yeah, it's gonna be lower.
It would be more accurate if it was like if you remove the petty theft, but
we wouldn't have stealing.
Murder is one of those things that people just don't forgive. It's not a forget and forgive kind of situation.
Yeah, it seems apparently for mayors, if we just hide those numbers, it's a good time all around for their political life.
I'm going to go back to Dan Quayle. The Holocaust was an obscene period in our nation's history. I mean, in this century's history, but we all lived in this century. I didn't live in this century. I don't know what he was trying to say there.
Well, this one kind of pisses me off because there are people and universities that teach that the Holocaust didn't happen. And when our politicians are saying that too, not only our educators and politicians, it just, Nick, thank God I got a tall glass of bourbon. That's all I got to say. I do not like that. If we're going to talk about things we are saying just weird stuff and we're not sure what they're saying, one of my favorites is by Vice President. He came up a lot in weird quotes. Dan Quayle, he was a vice president in the.
That was my last quote.
Goddamn, well, I'm gonna beat you to it. He comes up a lot with weird quotes, and he has one that goes, "You all look like happy campers to me. Happy campers you are. Happy campers you have been. And as far as I'm concerned, happy campers you will always be." Is this a Dr. Seuss book? What is he talking about?
I don't know. Again, I don't know.
All right? I gotta be honest, you ladies and gentlemen. How are these people getting elected? Like
It's
one of
our
them
fault. We are doing this to ourselves. So,
well, might as well laugh as we
So-
we crash this airplane.
this next quote is good for this situation we're talking about, not for the situation that it's intended to be talking about. The situation we're talking about is enjoying the shit show of American politics. On the subject of rape, as long as it's inevitable, you might as well lie back and enjoy it. Clayton
Who the
Williams.
fuck's- God damn him. Oh my god. You know what the sad part is? He probably got reelected to whatever position he wanted after that after his term too.
No, it just says he's a gubernatorial nominee, so I'm assuming he did not win.
Well, hey, maybe the American people aren't as dumb as we thought. I say that, but then I read a Ronald Reagan quote that goes, "Well, I learned a lot. I went down to Latin America to find out from them and learn their views. You'd be surprised. They're all individual countries. Yes, Latin America is made up of different countries. It's not one super continent."
Speaking of going to places and discovering new things, has the Mars Pathfinder succeeded in taking pictures of the American flag planted on Mars by Neil Armstrong in 1969? Sheila Jackson Lee. Mike, do you want to tell the people why that's a ridiculous statement?
Well, the Mars rovers that we sent was, nearly 40 years over the time we sent people to the moon. I mean, we sent...
Wait, to the moon? Do you mean Mars?
No. Apollo 11 went to the moon first in 1969. Then in 2004, or is it 94? I forget the actual date. But then we went to Mars. Those are two. I think, if I remember correctly, Neil Armstrong was already dead by the time we went to Mars. That's like saying, did you see what Abraham Lincoln tweeted the other day?
Yep.
Yeah, oh God. That's, well, one that I kind of like. I think, granted, he was running for president at this time, so he's probably a little jet lag and tired, but it's still hilarious. Barack Obama said, "I've now been to 57 states. I think I have one left to go." For those not in America, there are only 50 states, and there's only been 50 states since, 1957 or something like that?
Whenever Hawaii became part of the United States, right?
Yeah, Hawaii was the last holdout. Yeah, Or one of them that pisses me off the most is what Nancy Pelosi said to the healthcare reform. "But we have to pass the bill so we can find out what's in it, away from the fog of the controversy." What the actual fuck? Do you not read the bills before you vote on them? How are these politicians still keep getting elected?
That's just like you have to eat this sandwich, but you can't ask what's in it. And your friend, who's a notorious asshole, made it.
Nick, I need you to get on your knees, close your eyes, and open your mouth. Trust me, it'll turn out fine for you.
We have federal regulations and state laws that prohibit hunting ducks with more than 3 rounds, and yet it's legal to hunt humans with 15-round, 30-round, even 150-round magazines. Dianne Feinstein.
Oh God. I mean, if we can hunt humans, I
So-
need to get some tags.
We do, like you're saying, Mike, for those listeners who don't live in the United States, it's not actually illegal to hunt humans. regardless of firearm capacity or weapon type.
It's
There's
not the
no.
purge.
It's not like, oh well,
Mad.
it's closed to rifle, but there's still a bow season, or you can do like muzzleloader. No, it's actually just illegal to kill people.
Who would have thought? Like, well, if you're and if the rest of the United States got like DC and didn't count killings, it would have a really low death rate.
Well, I'm glad it's all tying back in together.
Oh,
Speaking of a killing, if you ban them
God.
in the future, the number of these high-capacity magazines is going to decrease dramatically over time because the bullets will have been shot and there won't be any more available. Also, Dianne Feinstein. So, that's not how a magazine works. A magazine is a piece of plastic or metal, and you put the rounds in it, and then you shoot it, and then you can put more rounds in the magazine. They don't expire. That would be a clip.
Oh.
Actually, you can reset that. No, so it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you can reuse a clip. Oh, well, Nick, that
They're
reminds
harder
me
to
of a quote.
find after you're done with them.
Oh, reminds me of a quote by Bill Clinton of picking hairs at terminology of, it all depends on what the meaning of the word is. That's what you're using in your grand jury testimony, Bill Clinton? What the definition of is? Come on, folks.
I mean, it's better than I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
I did not tell any of my cabinet members or my people to lie. Oh God. All right, so this is speaking of sexual relationships. Gary Hart's he goes, the attractive lady whom I had recently been introduced to dropped into my lap. I choose not to dump her off. So you slept with her and you're a married man. You just changed up those words pretty well. Good to know.
Speaking of forgetting things and messing things up, we've had no domestic attacks under Bush. We've had one under Obama. It gets better. Rudy Giuliani, the mayor of New York City.
Wasn't he the mayor during 9/11?
Yes.
Oh my
Now,
God.
I think what he was saying is that we've had no attacks done by domestic terrorists, only international terrorists is what he was trying to say. But I guess it's kind of a stretch.
That seems like he had an aneurysm in the middle of his speech. Speaking of having an aneurysm in the middle of your speech, Al Gore said a zebra does not change its spots. What the hell are you smoking, Al Gore? And where can the rest of the world get some? And oh God, what'd you find?
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking. Guess who said that, Mike?
Oh,
I'll give you a hint. It's one of the two last presidents of the United States.
George Bush.
Nope, Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
In a private remark to an Indian American man on C-SPAN June 2006.
Oh God, that's awful. I was gonna say this quote, but that's nothing compared to what you just said. Things are more like they are now than they have ever been, by Gerald Ford. I mean, yeah, now is now.
What's now? Now is now.
Now is then, but then is when. No, now is now.
Right now.
Spaceballs. Oh God, I love that movie. One that is an actual slip up but still funny is by Ted Kennedy. I think you'll like this one. She's a wonderful, wonderful person, and we're looking to a happy and wonderful life. Yep. Yep. I know where his head's at.
Uh, I'm gonna have to go with the the classic, the probably the most famous mess up, not mess up, the dumbest quote. Oh, we'll save that one for the end. Actually, the one of Hank Johnson.
Oh god, that's a money shot. But I got a one that's speaking of money shots, which is really horrible. And that was a once I read this quote, it'll be a terrible transition. But Senator Scott Brown, on his election victory night speech, goes, "In case anyone's wondering out there, yes, they're both available. Only kidding, only kidding. Ariana is definitely not, but Ayla is." He was talking about his daughters. He was pimping out his daughters during his election night victory speech.
Okay, well, I was gonna transition to my next one smoothly, but I'm not gonna
Hang on.
touch that one.
I can throw you.
Okay, good.
I can throw you a bone. Well, we saw a Joe Biden quote, and apparently he's full of them. Joe Biden, stand up, Chuck. Let me see him. He said to a wheelchair man. Come on. If you're looking at a wheelchair guy and you tell him to stand up, come on.
Yeah, Biden doesn't have the personality to pull that off. You got to be like a Will Ferrell or something to do that.
Oh, man. For some reason, my head went to dodgeball. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Come on, Wheels, stand up.
I'm going to talk about something that's a lot of politicians talk about is declining businesses. Too many good doctors are going out of business. Too many OBGYNs aren't able to practice their love with women all across this country. President Bush.
Fuck. Oh my god, that is quite rapey. That is really weird. Well, I guess when you're the president, it doesn't make it illegal. I mean, hell, Richard Nixon said it in 1977. When the president does it, that means that it is not illegal.
Everyone knows that.
I am not a crook.
It's like that kid who's always making up rules so he wins.
Oh God, yeah. Keeps changing the game when you're playing it. That seems to be every U.S. president. They keep changing the rules so they always win. That's really annoying.
Well, I'll tell you what Bill Clinton thinks what it's like being president, Mike. Being president is like running a cemetery. You've got a lot of people under you and nobody's listening. Probably true.
Well, that's actually not a bad one. That's actually not the dumbest out of the bunch. That's actually pretty good. Compared to what I was going to say with George Bush, what he said in 2000, I know that human beings and fish can coexist peacefully.
Doubtful.
What? Why of all the things you would say that? Like, I can't imagine the context.
Well, you don't remember when we almost invaded the ocean because they had nuclear weapons?
All right, calm down, Cheney. There's not oil. Well, there is oil in the ocean. Never mind.
Who was the fucking Roman emperor who had everyone stab the ocean?
Oh, I don't think he was actually.
Because they went to war with Poseidon.
Yes, but I think he was in charge of Egypt. I don't think he was actual emperor at the time. Well, I could be mistaken, but I know exactly who you're talking about because they had like soldiers quite literally stab for hours the ocean. Speaking
of military action, when I take action, I'm not going to fire a $2 million missile at a $10 empty tent and hit a camel in the butt. It's going to be decisive.
Yeah, that's you really think about camel butts there. I feel like that's a Bush quote.
That's a Bush quote.
Yeah. That's man, I'm not gonna lie. Bush and Biden are absolutely full of really dumb quotes.
I can't believe there's no Trump quotes on here, honestly.
I feel like everyone's just ignoring his dumb quotes, or we could just do a separate episode completely on Trump. But that's neither here nor say.
Um, hold on to the dumbest thing. This isn't about. This is a Barry Goldwater quote. I don't know what the context is, but if you don't mind smelling like peanut butter for 2 or 3 days, peanut butter is darn good shaving cream. What the fuck?
What? How would that? Listen, I am the master of asking weird questions and coming up with stuff on the fly. I have no idea how I would work into having peanut butter as shaving cream. That. Who said that again, Nick?
Barry Goldwater?
Uh, yeah, Barry Gold. You right now have the trophy for dumbest quote at the moment. That's
Well, I got
That's-
another contender, but I think you got one on deck.
uh,
They're all dumb. They're all dumb.
they're all. I got one by Senator nominee Christina O'Donnell. By integrating women into particular military institutes, it cripples the readiness of our defenses. Schools, like the Citadel, train young men to confidently lead other young men into battlefield where one of them will die. And when you have women in that situation, it creates a whole new set of dynamics, which are distracting to training these men to kill or be killed. Yeah, there's some bad bitches out there. I'm gonna give them a gun. I listen. There's a lot of country girls I'd rather give a gun to than city boys to help me fight. Yeah.
So while we're on the equality topic, I think that gay marriage should be between a man and a woman.
that was Schwarzenegger, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, I remember that one. Oh, still about a better politician than whoever's in charge of California right now. John Kerry, if I think he's still alive, or he might be dead, I don't remember. He said in 2004, I actually did vote for the 87 billion before I voted against it. How do you vote for and then against at the same time? I am very confused as that.
Speaking of something confusing as well, our runner-up between Biden and Bush, Dan Quayle, I was recently on a tour of Latin America, and the only regret I have was that I didn't study Latin harder in school so I could converse with these people better.
You're shitting me. You're shitting me.
Who the fuck
God.
is this guy? I've never heard of his name until now.
Well, keeping with the Dan Quayle, add one little bit on the end. Think of potato, how it's spelled. You're right, phonetically, but what else? There you go. All right. He was trying to correct spelling. He was trying to have a student correctly spell potato during a spelling bee, and he told the student how to misspell potato.
God, I hope this guy's like a professional troll.
I am saving his name. His dumbness has completely earned further research.
And this is a quote. I don't know if it's a joke or not, but it's really depressing, but also kind of funny. Blessed are the young, for they shall inherit the national debt. Herbert Hoover.
Can I reply with a quote that I remember for that quote?
Yeah.
This one's from Dick Cheney. I remember this was a kid. Dick Cheney telling a senator, "Go fuck yourself." Well, I'm gonna stick on the Dan Quayle because he comes up quite a bit. I have made good judgments in the past. I make good judgments in the future. How do you? Dan Quayle is a time traveler. He just came in the past and he's just trolling the entire world.
I fucking hope so.
Because it really seems like it.
I want to talk about John Edwards' explanation for cheating on his wife.
Oh God, please do tell.
Can I explain to you what happened? First of all, it happened during a period after she was in remission from cancer.
What? Like that makes it better? What on earth are you doing? What?
Hey, yeah, I don't think he thought that was coming out how it came out.
Yeah. I got another. Oh God, you're speaking of not how you want it to come out. I got another good Bush one for you. So this is right after Hurricane Katrina, and he was talking to the FEMA director, Michael Brown. In case you don't know, Michael Brown is black. And George Bush, of course, went, Brownie, you're doing a heck of a good job. What? You want to run that back again, Mr. Bush?
Nope.
No, yeah, that's it's amazing how the same like Richard Nixon keeps coming up too. Like Richard Nixon said, I would have made a good pope. You made a bad president. You would have made a worse pope.
Ooh, spin-off. Dumb quotes from the church.
Oh God, I need far more than 2 bottles of bourbon for that.
We can go back to the Inquisition again.
Woohoo! Ugh. Well, sticking with George Bush for a second, there's an old saying in Tennessee. I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me, you can't get fooled again." I feel like we're just electing presidents who've had, early stages of dementia. I feel either that or sexaholics.
Well, it doesn't help when they're backed up by people like this. Donald Rumsfeld on the location of Osama bin Laden. We do know of certain knowledge that Osama bin Laden is either in Afghanistan or in some other country or dead.
So all the options. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
It's all the options.
Yeah.
Of course. That's easy. God. Speaking of all the options, Bill Clinton trying to explain his semen stain on her blue dress. It could have been spinach dip or something. Hey, Nick, out of curiosity, just want to make sure you're a healthy person. Your members aren't green, are they?
That's a negative Ghost Rider.
Yeah, either Bill Clinton's an alien injecting some green shit out of himself, or he had definitely sexual interactions with that lady.
Speaking
Nick,
of Slick Willie and sexual interactions. No. Now, to be fair, you're going to judge him for this quote, but realize he is married to Hillary Clinton. If I were a single man, I might ask that mummy out. That's a good-looking mummy. Bill Clinton talking about Juanita, a newly discovered Incan mummy on display at the National Geographic Museum.
What?
That's like a would you rather. Would you rather have sex with Hillary Clinton, or would you rather have sex with someone who's been dead for over a century?
Dead for over a century.
Well, so we can do it. Why can't Bill Clinton?
Bill Clinton made his bed, and now he has to lie in it. That's 100% what he has to do. But I can't believe he actually said that. But speaking of Bill Clinton, because boy, he has a bunch of them. I would never approach a small-breasted woman. That's it, Bill. That's Bill, you got some explanations to do.
I don't even know what that means. I wish I knew the context of that one.
Yeah, same. But why? Like, Bill, what are you?
They don't call him Slick Willie for nothing.
Grab the saxophone.
I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Miss Lewinsky, I never told anybody to lie. Not a single time, never. Those allegations are false. Also, I need to go back to work for the American people.
You got caught red-handed. Just own up to it. Little bit off topic, but still on equally dumbness level. By State Representative Sherman Copland Jr. This is the most important bill of the season. I have not read the bill.
That's the most honest politician I've ever heard.
Oh, well, you want honest? I got a good one for honest. By Strom Thumber. He's a South Carolina senator or representative. The U.S. Senate is a special place. I love all of you, and especially your wives.
So this one I actually think is pretty funny, but education, if you make the most of it, you study hard, you do your homework, and you make an effort to be smart, you can do well. If you don't, you get stuck in Iraq. So John Kerry was trying to make a joke about Bush, but instead he just insulted everyone who is currently in Iraq.
It's amazing how, like, I mess up my words a lot doing these recordings, but I've never made a statement or anything along those lines. Like, I don't understand how they purposely do this. Like, take example, Larry Kuhn from South Carolina. Wow, South Carolina again. Women are best suited for secretarial work, decorating cates, and counter sales. Like, selling lingerie. Yeah, that's pretty bad. And Nick, in case you're wondering, I looked up the day J. Dickey Jr. He was the one who said the incest should be handled with a family matter. He's from Arkansas, so for some reason that makes it funny too. Ugh. I don't think presidents should travel to Latin or South America because they don't
never
understand.
come back with good quotes.
Because, boy, Bush, when he came back from Brazil, had a real good one. Bush said to the president of Brazil, "Do you have blacks too?" What? The actual fuck? I don't know how to respond from that. Like, if I'm a president of a country, how do I respond to that question? I don't know how to respond to that.
I don't know.
Nick, I feel like we could go all day and all night with these because, boy, there are a lot of them. But we did save a coup de grace for last. And I want this one. I need you to say this one. Okay. All right. I need to get a couple out of my system. They're all really bad, and they're all rape quotes made by U.S. politicians. And then I want to go with the coup de grace. Unless you have any other ones you want to say with that, Nick.
Nope, you go.
Okay. This is going to be rapid fire because some of them are awful. Roger Rivard. He is a congressman, I believe. And he says, some girls, they rape so easy.
What the fuck?
Clayton Williams. Rape is like bad weather. If it's inevitable. Oh, no, wait, you said that one. I apologize. I almost.
I didn't say that one. Oh, wait, no, I did. Oh, yeah, I did say that
one. Yeah,
you
did. You did. Another one by Jody Londenberg. In the emergency room, they have what's called rape kits, where a woman can get cleaned out.
Not exactly what that's for.
I'm pretty sure rape kits are just to help identify who your rapist
that's exactly
is.
What that's for.
Yeah, there's a lot of really weird sexual quotes and really dumb, like, not understanding basic things quotes. Like, Sarah Palin not understanding where Russia is, George Bush and Ronald Reagan and Joe Biden, all the presidents not understanding Latin America at all. It's crazy. But Nick, the one you're about to say, I think has to be one of the dumbest things I've ever heard from a human being, let alone a politician, just a human being in general. And out of curiosity, Nick, who said this quote?
So I'm going to read the whole conversation between Representative Hank Johnson and Admiral Robert Willard. They're talking about potentially moving 8,000 Marines from the Japanese island of Okinawa to the U.S. Pacific Island territory of Guam. This is in a House Armed Service Committee meeting held on the 25th of March, 2010. Representative Johnson. This is an island that at its widest level is 12 miles from shore to shore, and at its smallest level, smallest location, it's 7 miles between one shore and the other. Is that correct? Admiral Willard. I don't have the exact dimensions, but to your point, sir, I think Guam is a small island. Representative Johnson. Very small island, about 24 miles, if I recall, long, 24 miles long, about 7 miles wide at the least widest place on the island, and about 12 miles wide on the widest part of the island. And I don't know how many square miles that is. Do you happen to know? Admiral Willard. Wait, what is it, Mike?
It's 84.
84 square miles?
84.
Admiral Willard. I don't have that figure with me, sir. I can certainly supply it to you if you like. Representative Johnson. Yeah, my fear is that the whole island will become so overly populated that it will tip over and capsize. Fuck. Oh, shit. I can't do this. All right, here we go. Oh, okay. Admiral Willard, we don't anticipate that. Pause. It just takes a minute. The Guam population, I think, currently about 175,000, and again, with 8,000 Marines and their families, it's an addition of about 25,000 more into the population. Johnson, Representative Johnson. And also things like the environment, the sensitive areas of the environment, coral reefs, and those kinds of things. I know that lots of people don't like to think about that, but we don't think about global warming either, and now we do have to think about it. And so I'm concerned from an environmental standpoint whether or not Guam is the best place to do this relocation, but it's actually the only place. Is that correct? Admiral Willard, this is the best place. This is the furthest west U.S. territory that we own, and this is part of our nation. And in readdressing the forward presence and posture importance to the Pacific Command, Guam is vital to this decision.
Bravo to that Navy officer who kept a straight face during that entire time. I had to mute myself while Nick was saying that, so I wasn't constantly laughing while he was trying to read that. An island getting tipped over because they put a military... I hate this. For those who don't know, and I really hope I'm preaching to the choir here, land forms from the bottom up. It's not just free floating.
Now,
it's volcanoes.
Johnson's defense, he went on to say that I can say things that are quite humorous and not smile about it, and it leads people to think about what I said. Often I've been known to use humor as I deliver a message. That's just one of the gifts that I think that I have.
Bullshit. If you keep changing your numbers on how big that island is, you're lost, and now you're just filling until you regain your footing. That is bad. And also, for those who don't know, because I feel this is a very U.S. thing, Guam, strategically, is a huge importance for any military. It's quite literally almost in the middle of the Pacific. It's a great charging point for aircrafts and for Navy ships. So to go into a meeting that you're going to discuss the island of Guam and the Navy and not know this and think that the island might get tipped over. Nick, I don't want to live on this planet anymore. Send me to Mars when we go to the moon with Neil Armstrong.
Now, and here's the point, and I guess this is something that people need to clarify. Of there's times to be funny, and I like jokes. I don't know if a meeting of the House Armed Services Committee is the time to be a comedian. I feel like there's a lot of stupid meetings in Washington that you can be an idiot in front of. The armed services one might not be the best one.
That is probably one of the best, dumbest quotes I've ever heard. And now I'm just thinking of the opener with Mark Twain of imagine yourself an idiot. Oh, Nick, my ribs hurt. My fucking ribs hurt so bad.
Yep. And let's not forget, you know what? We're going to have to call it. We're going to have to call this episode, or we could go on all night.
And this is definitely going to be a part 2 very soon.
Remember speaking of dumb shit people said in Washington meetings, remember when Zuckerberg came and every single politician asked how Facebook made their money?
Oh, did you watch the Google one where they're trying to figure out the difference between an Android and an Apple?
No.
They're trying to he was holding up an Apple phone and goes, "You're telling me my iPhone blank, you're not tracking it." No, sir. Google is not tracking that unless you add on Google Apps onto that. And the senator goes, "I don't believe you. Sir, we don't make that phone or produce products for that phone. So you're telling me if I walked across this room, Google's not tracking this. If you downloaded Google Apps, I would have to check your settings. I wouldn't know that offhand. I don't believe you, sir. I think you're lying to me."
All right. Lindsey Graham asking Mark Zuckerberg. Lindsey Graham asked Mark Zuckerberg, "Is Twitter the same as what you do?"
All right. We can't go into political and technology. That's a whole episode in itself.
All right. Well, we're gonna call this episode. We will do another one of these. This was hilarious.
We're probably gonna do multiple of these.
This will be a new segment.
Well, since it's a new segment, give us some names. Give us some good titles for these little mini episodes that are just political based. And Nick, where can they tell us some good names for these segments?
You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram. And to answer Lindsey Graham's question, you cannot find us on Twitter because it is different from Facebook and Instagram and YouTube.
Oh man, I'm gonna go down the rabbit hole tonight and just find the dumbest quotes possible. Nick, this was a blast episode.
What do you mean down the rabbit hole? We literally just clicked on the first 3 links and were entertained for 45 minutes.
Touche, my friend. Touche. Well, I hope everyone got a good laugh, because we'll be doing it again, because we sure had a grand time. And as always, thank you all for listening.
Thanks for listening to the Backyard Philosophy Podcast. We rarely finish a podcast without missing a point we wanted to bring up, so let us know what we forgot. And if you have a topic you want us to talk about, let us know at Backyard Philosophy on